Hello everybody, we're bringing some more stuff, and today I'm driving to Cammy's because we're gonna go check out some more apartments in Redlands. Shoot, I did not. Boom. Boom. Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm like in a bit of a rush. So I was just doing all the things I had to do as quickly as possible. One of those was start the voice memo. But I'm started now. I'm set. So, what's up, Penguins? Okay. So, my really embarrassing story that I had to tell from last time was on Maya's graduation day, which was the day after Dusty's graduation day. We woke up to watch them online, and before Maya graduated, I was like, I think I have to use the bathroom. This is TMI, by the way. If you don't want to hear a yucky story, then skip ahead. Skip ahead a little bit. But yeah, so I was like, I think I've got to poop. I think it's time before Maya graduates. And I tell Cammy this, and then I go. And as background for this story, my belly, my belly, my belly has not been good. It has been like having issues forever. Just where, sometimes my tummy hurts, sometimes I don't poop for a long time, sometimes it's just bad. Everything is bad, okay? I don't have like a specific problem, I don't have like diarrhea, I just have problems. So, yeah. But I, on this day of Maya's graduation, go into the bathroom, and I pooped, and then I texted Cammy and I said, I'm going to cry. My poop is too big and heavy. It won't move. It was too big and heavy, Penguins, because it was unreal. The size is just unfathomable. I don't know how I created and then output such a volume. I mean, truly, it was insane. It doesn't make any sense. It was, crazy. So, sorry, I was a little focused on the drive. But it was a little insane, right? And it worked as a, like a bridge would, where, it was just one very, strong, stick, you could say. And it hit the back of the toilet, and then came to the front of the toilet. And it was so much that it wasn't in the water all the way, because it was suspending itself in midair by height. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh my goodness. But it was suspending itself in air by height, right? And so, because of that, wouldn't break down really, and it just wouldn't flush, and it was miserable, and I was like, God, this is the worst. like, it was just such a nightmare. It was such a nightmare. I hated it. But it was very funny because it happened on the morning of Maya's graduation, and I clogged Cammie and Jamie's toilet. So I was like, oh god, what do I do? Like, I can't fix this right now. So I put a post-it note on the door. That said, like, please do not enter. And Cammie said that you could read the fear and the franticness in my handwriting. I think that's extra funny. Guys, I want to talk about something else. We went to the beach. Woohoo! We went to the beach. So, yeah. Yeah, I went for I drove up there for crew night at the Oscars, which is like a little event they do at the end of every year, and that was on Friday, and then Saturday was a grad party. I have my timeline messed up. Why was I at the beach? I was at the beach for Allie and a bunch of other people's birthdays. And so we all went to celebrate birthday at the beach. And when I was there, I played spike ball for the first time. That was pretty cool. That was a fun game. And at another point, I was just kicking around sand, basically. Okay, that makes it sound like I kick up sand into the wind, which is like not, I wouldn't do that. But I was like moving the sand with my foot, and I went like deep enough with my hole that the sand became a little bit hard. And I was like, Cammie, look, I've reached the hard layer. And she was like, wow, you have dug all the way to the bedrock. If you go below that, we will fall forever and die. And I was like, that's funny. Minecraft. So then, I had dug down to there, and I was like, would you like me to make it bigger so you can get in? And then I made it bigger, and then Cammie stood in there with me. I was like, look, it's hard on the floor, right? And then there was a third person there, and we were like, oh, let's make it bigger for them. And then we made it bigger for them. And eventually we made it big enough for like 4 people, I think it was. And then I was like, okay guys, let's play Pictionary. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, let's play Pictionary. And they were like, how do you play it? And I was like, how do you play Pictionary? Are you serious? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, well, it's like charades, but you draw. And they were like, oh. And I was like, okay, I'll go first. And I began to draw in the sand with my toe. And then we played Pictionary. And more people would come over, right? Like, more and more people would come over to our Pictionary pit. More and more people would come over to our Pictionary pit. And whenever they came over... Sorry, I had to merge. Whenever they came over, we would be like, expand, expand, expand. And then we would all use our feet to expand the circle and make it bigger. Because we only wanted to draw on the hard sand, not on the soft sand. So we had to dig deep enough that we were standing on the hard part. And eventually there were like a good... Actually, I'm really bad at estimating, but it felt like we had like more than 10 people in that circle. Just playing Pictionary. And there were some fun drawings, man. Like, I tried to do killer whale with my feet. I tried to do killer whale. Or orca, as I was thinking. And I, like, couldn't draw one, man. I, like, had to erase it and restart. It was really difficult. Like, I don't know why. But it was really difficult for me to draw an orca. So, you know, that's that. I had what were some other fun drawings? I did Darth Vader, and I drew the mask. At one point, Noah, another person in the circle, drew Ferb, and they hadn't even finished drawing the shape of his head. They hadn't even finished drawing the shape of his head yet when I guessed Ferb. And everyone was like, what the heck? And I was like, yay! So that was really exciting and fun that I guessed Ferb. Or some other good ones. I'm trying to think. I drew Orpheus and Eurydice, the guy that, like, from that myth, where it's like, you have to walk your girlfriend out of hell, but if you ever turn around even a single time, then she can't leave with you. And then he turns around at the very end. I drew that, and someone got it. It took a little while, but someone got it. Cammy drew basically just a semicircle. And I was like, turtle! And she was like, what? Yes! And it was awesome. I'm just so linked with Camellia. I can tell when she draws a turtle. I can tell it. That's what everybody doesn't know, is that I can tell it when Camellia draws a turtle. Guys, I just played a new video game. This is a new topic. I played a new video game because all the video game... Also, Super Meat Boy 3D is real, but it has nothing to do with the original creator because the original creator doesn't have the rights anymore. So, this new game is being worked on by a completely different group of people, and the original creator of Meat Boy didn't even know that the game was being made until, like, they watched the trailer, just like us. And it's like, oh, what? Like what? You know? But I played this new game. It's in pre-alpha, they say. Which I think means that this demo is not to be considered playable, right? I mean, like, beta is when you play test it with other people, but I thought alpha is, like, when it's, like, a playable game. But maybe I'm wrong. Point is, I played Waifu Task Force. It's WTF. It's called WTF: Waifu Tactical Force. Sorry, not Task. Waifu Tactical Force. And it's a waifu movement shooter that is supposed to be a TAC FPS, but they haven't made the TAC FPS part yet. They just made the waifus shooting each other part. And so you can play, in the demo, you can play 2v2 games, where it's like every round you just, like, run around this small area and try to kill the other team. And whichever team has the last man standing wins that round. And it's first to, like, 7 rounds or something. So I played that, and, like, it sucks so bad. It feels terrible to shoot in, because, like, you can never tell when you're doing damage. There's literally not recoil. It feels like the bullets just don't do any damage. Like, I'll headshot someone 3 times and they'll live, and I'm like, okay, like, what am I supposed to do? When you shoot someone, there's, like, a hit marker effect where it, like, shows you that you've successfully hit someone. There's not a sound for it, but there is, like, a small visual indicator. When you hit someone, it, like, turns red around your crosshair, right? But when you shoot someone in the head, it glows yellow. And it's like, well, yellow feels worse than red. Like, just in practice, it feels like I did, like, a glancing blow or something. Like, I did less damage. So it just, like, is really confusing about when you've actually hit someone or not. You know? And their, like, abilities are also really whack. Like, one character has, like, a pulse grenade that you can use to, like, launch yourself or other players, but it, like, barely launches. So it's just, like, worthless. And then I say one character. It's actually, you can just pick loadouts. So, like, you can pick what guns you want and then what abilities you want. So you can either have the set of abilities that is, like, the pulse grenade and then, like, a small Winston bubble. Or, when I say Winston bubble, I mean, like, a dome shield that comes around you and protects from bullets. Like, neither player can shoot through it, as far as I could tell. At the same time, though, maybe I could have, and I just couldn't tell, because there's, like, terrible feedback for everything in the game. But, you know, the other set of abilities is you press Q to do a jump, which is funny because jump is already on spacebar and you already get a double jump. So this is just like a third jump, and it's not like a super high one. It's just basically a third jump. So, and then the other ability you get is a grenade. And this grenade one-shots all players, like, including yourself. So, like, I found that the best strategy was to kind of, like, run at someone and start a fight, and then wait until they have, like, expended their jump or something. Wait until they, like, are out of resources, essentially, and then throw your grenade at them. And the reason that you wait instead of throwing it early is because you can take something like 10 bullets without dying. So, you know, if you guarantee that the grenade is going to hit by waiting a little bit, it's better than, like, risking it to try to throw it early. Because all the time, I would keep losing. Oh, there's a car. Hold on. I would keep losing because I had, I, like, threw my grenade early and tried to hit someone while they were, like, moving around. And then I would shoot them in the head, like, 4 times. And then they would throw their grenade at me and I would die. So it just felt terrible. It felt like the grenade was way too strong. The guns were too weak. All the guns felt the same. I couldn't tell what was different about them because we were given no damage numbers. And they both felt like they had roughly the same fire rate. So it's just like, what am I even doing, man? Like everything about this game is terrible. And it looks bad. Like, the waifus are uggo. It's just like bad 3D models. So it's like, why did they put this on the Steam store? That was like honestly my takeaway. It's like, why did they put this demo up? Oh, also the netcode was horrible. Like, it was super laggy and weird, and like when you spectated other people, like their crosshair would not be pointing where it actually was. So like if I'm watching my teammate in like a 1v1 after I've killed somebody and then died, then I would just watch them aim like way far to the right of someone and not move their crosshair, and then the enemy would just die. And it would be like victory. And I would be like, oh, okay. I guess what I saw was fake. So that was just really weird. But yeah, for WTF Waifu Tactical Force, I cannot say I recommend it. If you want to play a game that sounds or that functions like Waifu Tactical Force, also they say on their Steam page that they're gonna have a 2026 launch. Is this thing mining Bitcoin on my computer? What hubris do they have to say that they're gonna have a 2026 launch with such an incomplete, horrid video game? I mean, maybe they like uploaded the wrong freaking branch, because it's just incomplete. And when Kai downloaded it, it like accidentally deleted the executable. So like he hit play, and it was like, sorry, no, like executable not found. So then he deleted it and then reinstalled it, and it like only reinstalled a TXT file. It's the only thing it installed when he installed the game again. So he just like, he didn't even get so as far enough to say that, well, I guess he could have clicked play on Steam and it would have said no executable found. But he like couldn't download anything more than a TXT file. So even though he got invited to the closed pre-alpha, he like wasn't allowed to play it just because it wouldn't download properly, which I think is insane. Like, just so mismanaged. But truly, why did they put it on the Steam store? Because like you can either wait a little bit and say like, hey, our game isn't good enough, let's put it up when it's like more fun and they're like waifus and stuff to like draw people in. Like, that's, I understand that. But the fact that they were like, yeah, let's release it in this state to the public. Like, the only thing that's going to happen is people are going to be like, oh, I'll try that game, that looks funny. And then they try it and it's terrible. Just like what I'm explaining to you. Like, it's so bad. It's just unreal. It's actually unfreaking real. Like, I don't understand what possessed them to release that video game in such a sorry state. But yeah. So now I'm saying the NATO stuff. I went back to Irvine for NATO, which is night at the Oscars. This is like a cutesy little event where people make their own videos. Like, my friend group made like a video where they like mashed up a bunch of popular songs from movies and they like acted out the parts, you know? I can't really describe this, but it was really awesome. It was really awesome. Like, they acted out like the scene in La La Land where they all get out of their cars, and then they acted out like the scene from Wicked where they're like, I loathe you, and then they acted out Grease Lightning, like they did a bunch of cool stuff. They did the part from Sing where Johnny is there, and it's like Johnny he's singing, and his dad is in jail, and he's like, "That's my son, Johnny. That's my son." And then he's like, "I did that wrong. I did it in the wrong order, whatever. I promise I know how that scene goes in my head." And then he bursts out of the jail. Boom, boom, boom. He bursts out of the jail, and he hops onto the car on the highway, and then he rides all the way. And Johnny's like, "And don't you know I'm still standing?" And it's just awesome. They acted that out. So I went back for NATO, and I attended that, and that was like pretty fun. And then the next day, we went to the roommates, meaning Cammie, Jamie, Jenna, and Allie. We went to their... Sorry, guys, I have a headache. I have a headache. I don't know why. It just kind of hurt. My head kind of hurt right now. And I just hit some pretty dense traffic. This headache is not fun. I think it's from a lack of sleep. I think it's sleep deprivation. I gotta start taking my sleep more seriously. I've been staying up late and waking up not that late. In part because Mom comes in and wakes me up. She's like, "Hi, are you awake?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am now." She's like, "Wow, you slept until 10. And I'm like, "Yeah, I would have slept farther too." But really, my brain is mostly thinking static noise at that point. Not sass. I wake up at like 11, and my mom's like, "Hi, good morning. I can't believe you slept all the way until 11. I'm like, "Yeah, I stayed up late." And she's like, "You gotta stop staying up so late." And it's like, well, dude, I have nothing to do today. And I'm like not eating breakfast really that much right now. So like, what am I missing by not waking up? Why must you open the door and yell into my room? I will fall asleep some more. This actually doesn't annoy me. I'm just sleepy right now. And I had to wake up early, so the thought of waking up sounds really annoying to me. That's really all. Yikes. This traffic looks really miserable. Sorry guys, I yawned, but so Jamie, Jenna, Allie, and Cammie, they had their grad party. They're like grad celebration party because half of them are graduating, half of them already have graduated, but it's just like, the grad party. And so I went back to Irvine for it. No, I went back to Irvine for NATO. The grad party was on the Saturday. That was the day after NATO. So, well, I can merge here. Nice. So I attended, and they had it at a little park that was just down at the opposite end of the block from where Cammie and her roommates live. And that park has a volleyball net. So we went, and well, in the morning we bought a bunch of snacks. I ate terribly this day, but in the morning we bought a bunch of snacks and brought them to the party. And then we get to the party and we play some board game. We played Codenames. Some other people were playing Monopoly Deal, I think it's called. I don't know how to play that game, but it looked like they just played Monopoly but without a board. It was just like cards. But yeah, so what am I saying? I guess what I'm saying is when I was there, I played Spike Ball again for a tiny bit with Cammie, and we had so much fun because every time we would win a point, we would hold each other's hands, like her right hand in my left, my right hand in her left. We would just like hold each other's hands. Like my hands were both facing up and her hands were both facing down, and then we would hold each other's hands like that. It's like a very romantic way to hold hands, you know? But we would hold hands and we would jump up and down for joy every time we won a point because we were terrible. We were both very bad. And then we played volleyball. Guys, why did nobody tell me that volleyball is the freaking best? Nobody freaking told me that volleyball was so fun. Like, it was awesome. I had so much fun playing volleyball. I just kept wanting people to go back to play volleyball, and nobody ever did. And everyone was like, don't worry, Jack. Like, you're going to have more times to play volleyball. We play volleyball all the time. And it's like, well, I'm never here. And, like, the school year is over. So I don't think I will have more chances to play volleyball with you guys. So that was sad. Because I always have looked at volleyball and thought, wow, that looks so fun. The only thing I could not do in that game is dive onto a wooden floor. But I didn't consider that when you play at the beach, if you dive onto the sand, which is totally fine. So, it was actually the best. It was so cool. I really, really enjoyed it. Whoa, I didn't realize that big, huge truck was merging. Now I'm merging. Hooray. And now I'm in the proper lane. So... yeah, volleyball was really awesome. I'm sad I won't get to play more of it. Oh man. The car in front of me slowed down pretty quick, and the car behind me was relatively close. So, that was a little frightening, but it actually turned out totally fine. Man. Why is my lane specifically, like, almost stopped? Because the lanes to the right and left of me are moving. It's just the one I'm in. Okay, well... maybe things will pick up now. Let me get out of the lane with all the big trucks and into the lane of freedom and prosperity. That's what they're calling it now, you guys. They're calling it the lane of freedom and prosperity when you get out of the lane with the trucks. Yeah, volleyball was cool, and then we played 3 flag, is what they called it, I think. And this here game, 3 flag, the rules are like so. One person throws a football, and everyone else goes to catch the football. Okay? And whoever catches it gets a flag. And when you get 3 flags, when you get 3 flags, you win, and then you throw the football. And that game sounds like, oh, it's so fun, you all try to catch the ball. Until you, like, actually think about it for half a second, sorry, I hate 3 flag. I think this game sucks so bad. But, yeah, so, like, it really just turns into a who wants it more competition, and I didn't have shoes on, and everyone else did have shoes. Well, not everyone else. Most people didn't have shoes on, but there were 2 people that did. So I just, like, wasn't gonna fight to catch it when I was near them. You know? Like, I just wasn't gonna. It just wasn't gonna happen. I'm not trying to stub my toe or get stomped on. And then, like, I don't know, it was just like a stupid game. It was just who wants it the most. And I didn't want it that much. I especially didn't want it that much because of the whole shoes situation. So, you know, I thought, like, well, this game sucked. But I ran forward because I felt it in my bones. It was this one dude throwing. His name is Noah Conger. And he can throw the ball really far, but I just felt in my bones that he was going to mess it up. I don't know what it was, but just, like, I felt it. I felt it in my jimmies. In my jellies, I should say, as Detective Pikachu would say. I could feel it in my jellies that he was going to mess up his throw. So I just, like, walked forward, like, way in front of everyone else. And he messed up his throw, and I put my hands up to catch it, and I had one hand on it, like, holding it. And then this other dude ran up and smacked the ball out of my hand. And he did this by slapping my hand, which, you know, hurt. And I was like, ow. And he was like, oh, are you okay? I'm sorry. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. It just hurt a little bit. But, you know, I was like, okay, so, like, I don't know. This really is a who wants it type of game. And, like, I don't want it that bad. This game is just someone throws a ball and then we all compete to catch it, which basically means you're playing catch, but you don't get to play for, like, 90% of the game. I would love to play catch, okay? With a football, with a regular ball, like a circular one, with a little ball from spike ball. I would love to play catch. What I wouldn't love to play is 3 flag, where I don't even get to play catch. So when that guy smacked the ball out of my hand, I was like, okay, that's enough for me. That's enough of this game for me. I think I'll be done. I played a couple more rounds as to not make this fella think that him slapping me is the reason that I sat out or that I'm actually hurt. It was not physical pain. The pain was mental, that we were playing this when we could be playing volleyball, dude. We could be playing spike ball, we could be playing volleyball, and we're playing 3 flag. Like, come on, dude. It's unreal. Just so stupid. So, you know, that's that. That's the gist. But then we finally they quit playing 3 flag, and I was like, yay, time for a more fun game. And they were like, now let's play football. And I was like, football? You know? Listen, I don't think football is a bad sport. I don't. I think a lot of people do think that, but I think, like, a 2-touch football or a flag football is not a bad sport. I don't like the idea that, like, there's a sport where you slam into each other as hard as you can, and the point isn't even fighting. Like, if you're gonna get concussed from slamming into someone in a sport, it better be a fight, you know? But, you know, it's just like, I just think it's unfortunate that we were playing football, because like none of us, like half of us didn't know how to play football really. We like learned the rules as we went, and also the teams were horribly stacked, which is confusing because we did it with 2 team captains who like alternated picks. So you would think that the teams couldn't be that stacked, but they were. And part of the reason is that I was one of the relatively earlier picks, you know? Okay, that's actually super not true. I got picked first of the 3 people that were designated as... Dude, I don't even remember. Whatever. They said us 3, we said that we were gonna all play the same kind of position. And so we got like drafted last, but I was the first pick for that. And the reason why is I'm really fast, and they all knew I was really fast because I had run to go drink some water and give Camellia my ring when I was playing volleyball. So they all saw me run and they were like, wow, you're really fast. I was like, thanks. But then my dude literally would not throw the ball to anyone that was open. Like, I would be wide open, and I was like, pass me the ball, and he just wouldn't. So I was just running around like an idiot, like a bozo. And at one point, this was a different thing. At one point, At one point, what am I saying? Oh, the guy that I was supposed to mark was thrown the ball, right? And when he was throwing the ball, I like ran after him, and then he like switched directions, and I was so ready. So I like planted my foot, I like got ready, I had stopped myself, and then I took off the other way to catch him. And I was like, awesome, perfect, got him. But the thing is, when I planted my foot, I was barefoot. I'm not used to that. So I was running like full speed. That's not true. I was running like probably 70% of full speed, but I'm going very fast. I plant my foot, I stop myself, but I don't stop. I continue to slide across the grass with my smooth, slippery, bare feet that have been bare for the whole day, running in the grass, becoming more and more prone to slipping on it. And I did not stop, so I just kept sliding. And when I took off, it like, my momentum and whatever made it so that when I tried to take off to the right, I was still moving left, and I just like fell onto my butt. And I slid for a little bit, and then there was so much momentum that I like flipped over backwards. And because I had been joking about like, this game is just who wants it more, and I didn't want it with 3 flag. They're like, haha, you really want it now, you really want it now that we're playing football. And I like didn't want it that bad. I just like tried to turn around, but I was going too fast because I'm used to wearing cleats. Like, I'm used to, when I'm running on grass, wearing shoes that stick into the floor to give me maximum grip. Like, you know? So that was just funny. I like totally fell over. I like tumbled. It was really awesome. And Cammie, when she saw me, she was like, I saw earlier that you took a tumble. And that made me really happy because she was very sweet, and she said that I took a tumble, and that it just like made me really happy. But football was really stupid because I would just like run around and be open and then not get to play. We were playing 5v4 also. Like, we had 5 people and they had 4. And so, you know, like my guy that was marking me, sometimes he just realized like, oh, I see what their plan is. They're going to do this, and then they're going to throw it to that guy. So then he would just leave, and I would be completely alone on the other side of the field. Like, there's just no one near me. And then they would throw to the guy that's marked. So, like, I just didn't get to play for the whole game. It was just, like, running simulator. Like, I ran, and then we would mess up, and then I would run, and then we would not go. And then I would run, and then my teammate would throw it and the other team would catch it and it would be a turnover and then they would freaking run it down and they would win. It was just miserable. And then the very last one, I was standing there and we were like, okay, this is the last play, win or lose, like this is it. Because we were down like 1 million. But we said, okay, last possession, and then our guy threw it to the other team, essentially. And then they ran it down, and so we got it again, and we were like, okay, this is the last possession no matter what. Like, if friggin' the other team catches it, and they run it in, cool. Like, whatever is fine. And I'm just standing on the right. And this time, I didn't even run. Because I was just like, I wanted to leave so bad. I didn't want to be there. Cammie had already left. She had taken some stuff back to the dorm, or not the dorm, the apartment. Like, I just did not want to be there anymore. And so I was just standing there, you know, like wide open. There's just not anyone near me. And my quarterback, as they call him, is just not looking. And then Allie is on my side too. And Allie's like, we're open. And after like the third or fourth time, she's like, pass over here, we are open. Like, said it like that. And it was really funny. Because it's like, wow, you are competitive. You know? Like, I was frustrated, but ultimately didn't care that much. Because, like, we're playing football. Like, you know. And yeah, I mean, it was just like, whatever. It was just whatever. Like, it was obviously a terrible game. And it was 5v4. And, like, we couldn't figure out what the rules were very well. So, like, you know, I really could not care less. Like, I'll play and I'll try. But, like, am I going to get, like, frustrated? No. So, the guy, like, looked over and he was trying to throw it to Allie, who now was marked. And I'm just standing there, turned around looking at him, just waiting for the ball. Like, please throw me the football. I have been waiting for the football for the whole time we've been playing. And he threw to me, and then the guy who I had been marking and the guy who had been marking me, he's really cool. And he tried to jump and smack the ball out of the air, or like catch the ball. Like, he tried to do the cool thing instead of the proper thing. The proper thing being, like, just putting 2 hands on my back. Because then he is 2 touching me, and it's over. But he tried to, like, jump up and grab the ball and be cool, which, like, I totally respect, especially in a game like that. Like, that's definitely the right play, you know? But then I got the ball, and I ran away, and I scored, because I'm fast, and Allie told me that she was protecting me from all the people. She was blocking people. And I'm like, wow, thank you, Allie. But yeah, I scored a touchdown. Everyone was like, yay, great job. I was like, thanks. I like that guy. The guy that tried to catch the ball or smack it out of the air. He was pretty cool. Sorry guys, I yawned. But yeah, like, when we were playing volleyball, because this is my first time ever playing volleyball, I was like kind of struggling to like play well. Like, it's a very difficult game when you have not played it before. It's like hard to get the ball to go where you want it to go. So, you know, I was like, man, I suck. Like, I wish I was good so bad. It's frustrating to be bad at a game. Because, like, you know, I want to engage with the game in front of me, not engage with, like, being able to hit the ball over the net, you know? Like, if something is difficult, I want it to be difficult because, like, I have to go down and reach and save it, and like they have like they've sent me a ball that's difficult to return, or like I want to hit it to a specific part of the court and like it's hard to hit it there. I don't want it to be difficult like just to hit it in all circumstances, no matter how easy it is, you know? And everyone was saying like, wow, you're really good for not having played before, and that was nice. But then people would be like, dude, you're like so good, like you're so good at volleyball, and I'd be like, no, I'm not, like shut up. You know? Like no, I'm not. Like I would say roughly 60 to 70% of the times that I hit the ball, it does not stay in the court. And we're saying that I'm amazing? Are we believing this? Are we believing this somehow? So, you know. But that was really fun. I had a ton of fun playing volleyball. And I was talking about it with somebody. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Allie. Maybe it wasn't, but I think it was Allie. I've really struggled to remember who said what on that instance of me being in Irvine. Like, actually, I attributed every conversation that I had with anybody to somebody else. Like, it was crazy. But, you know, I'm gonna merge here. Why is this lane stopped? I just merged into it because it was like on the left, but it's literally stopped. Well, whatever. Allie was like, I think it was Allie, was like, yeah, it's like fun, but like the problem is that they all play volleyball a lot and like have played for a long time. So it's like very hard. And so, you know, it's like a struggle just to keep ramming your head into the wall, essentially. I mean, that's not what she said. It's not how she worded it, but she was essentially saying, like, it's really frustrating to play against people that are so good and just lose and lose and lose and lose and lose. And I was like, you know, I honestly don't think I would feel that way. Like, I think I would just keep playing with them and be like, wow, this is so awesome. Like, I'm starting to be able to return some of these balls. And she was like, it just feels bad to, like, let your team down. And I was like, maybe I'm an idiot. But I like, when I let my team down, I'm like, man, if I was just better, then I wouldn't let my team down. And then I really want to be better. And I think that comes with the game being fun. Like, if the game is not fun, I do not feel this way, right? Like, football, I was like, whatever. Like, I don't care. I slipped and, like, fell and flipped over backwards. And I was like, okay. You know? I wasn't like, oh man, like, how should I have stopped myself better? Like, how am I going to be able to... I was like, okay. There were parts of it where I was really trying, you know? There were parts of it where I was really trying to figure out, like, what I should do and how I should, like, succeed and stuff. But you know, at some point, I'm not that invested. Just because I think that the game that we played of football was whack. And because football is not my type of game either, I don't like it. The problem with volleyball, though, is, like, if you have somebody really bad on your team, then the other team will just target them, and then all the good players don't get to play. You know? But whatever. It's a very fun game. So I had an awesome time playing. And then I played Catan for the first time. I'm pretty sure this is like the end of all the stuff I have to take that I have to have notes about Penguins. Like, I think this is the end of my long list of PEGCAST things to talk about in my notes. But played Catan for the first time. We did it on teams. Because it's 4 players max. We thought it was 6. But it's 4 players max. And we had 5 people. So we did, Allie and I are on a team. Oh no, we had 6 people. It was Allie and I were on a team, Cammie and Jamie were on a team, and Jenna and Miguel were on a team. Big Miguel fan. And yeah, dig. And yeah, so. Oh, also, while I was playing volleyball, Jamie's friends from high school were over. Or I think it's from high school, maybe it's from before, but they were over. Apparently, they're like queer and gamers, so that's what I should have been talking with them about. But instead, I was just playing volleyball, and Katie and I were both like not good. I won't say that Katie's bad. Because she's better than me, I think. But every time we would succeed, we would be like, oh my god, like, you did so well, like, great job, you know? Like, we were big fans of one another. So that was really fun, because every time we would succeed, we would be like, hooray! And then eventually we were on opposite teams, and then we would do that across the net. So that was fun. But I played Catan for the first time, and that was, like, fun. It's not really my type of game, and I'm not sure that I think Catan is good. Like, what I mean by that, I think Catan is a fun game. I do think it's good. What I mean by I'm not sure if, like, Catan is good is, like, I think there's almost definitely another version of that game where they, like, tweak 1 or 2 things or add 1 or 2 things, and it becomes, like, immeasurably better. Because it just feels like maybe I just had, like, a weird first game, because the way that it was, like, the way that the board turned out was really strange. But basically, Allie and I ended up with, like, we were at a logs area, and we had a port right there that was, like, we had a port right there that was, like, for every 2 logs, you can trade them in to get 1 of anything else. So we would just get mad logs and transfer them, or translate them, transfigure what? We would trade them. We would trade them logs for whatever we needed. And so we just ended up with, like, infinite money glitch, you know? And so we just, like, built a bunch of stuff using only log, and it just felt doomed. It just felt like there was nothing that our opponents could do, to be honest. It felt like they were just, like, screwed from the get-go, because we, like, had a better starting location, and we kept rolling the wood number. So we were just rich! But, yeah, that's basically was so, I don't know, my game of Catan felt like there wasn't that much agency in, like, being able to screw each other over. Or being able to, like, influence who won. I feel like we didn't even play that well, like, in terms of trades, in terms of what we're putting our resources into, in terms of like what resources do we keep as opposed to expend. I think we honestly did not play very well at all, but we won. So, you know, it was like fine, but I just feel like there's a different version of that game that goes under a different name that's like the same game, but if it was awesome, you know? I do like, though, that, like, because of the way that Catan is randomized, like, all the games feel super different. Like, we ended up winning because we had, like, every time one roll would land, we would get, like, infinite wood, and every time a different roll would land, we would get, like, infinite bricks, and we had ports for both of those things at the end of the game. So we just, like, blew a bunch of resources on getting some freaking bricks. I mean, we blew a bunch of resources on getting, like, a couple houses, and, or I guess cities? What do you call them? We blew a bunch of bricks on getting some hotels, is really what I mean, if you think about Monopoly. And it was just, like, free. Like, we just won, you know? So, you know, Catan was, like, fine, but I would not say that it's, like, one of my favorite games. I had fun playing Codenames. I said knight with a K-N, and you're allowed to spell it. We had established in an earlier game. I was like, knight spelled with a K. And they're like, knight, what should we do? And there were the words round and table next to one another, and they didn't pick them. I was like, come on, man. Come on, man. They're like, what if it's train? Like a knight would train. And I'm like, dude, I would have said, like, warrior. Or, like, fighter. I would have said fighter if I wanted train. I don't know. But it was really fun playing all them games. I'm a big fan of game. Love to play game of any sort, really. When a game is not my style, I still like it more than probably most of the other people playing. So that's me. That's all I got, man. I'm out of stuff to say. I'm done. I have nothing left. So, you know, there's this guy, Sean. He goes to he went to Oxy with me, I should say. We went to college together. And, sorry guys, big yawn, did not sleep enough. I'm fantasizing about this Dr. Pepper. Cammie told me that she has Dr. Pepper. I'm so excited. I want it. Give me the delectable Dr. Pepper. So, Sean, you know, big Rolo fan. Big fan of me playing Smash Bros. And Sean finally, I think, became good at the game. And when I say good, I mean, like, okay. But Sean finally hit that level like, within the last month or so of our undergrad. And the reason for this is he began to just not ever approach, literally ever. So that was pretty lame. But yeah, he like just started not approaching. So, you know, I would run in and die, and I would be like, God, this is just like so lame. Like, I don't want to play you right now. Like, like I can handle someone being a little campy in Melee, right? I don't understand when people play like completely non-interactively. Sometimes I let that like get under my skin, and I'm like, this just can't even be fun for you. Like, there's just no way. I have to get over. Oh, do I? I actually don't think I do. I don't think I have to get over. No, I do. I do have to get over. Sorry, I was just trying to figure it out. Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't have to get over. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. But Sean got good by camping, basically, by just, like, not ever approaching ever again. So I would run in and then just die and be like, God, this sucks. And you could say, like, oh, it's just a get good moment. Like, if you were better at approaching, then you would win. But, like, it's not even that. Because, like, you're just not meant to approach him there. Like, I can just stand there kind of, like, right outside his range and, like, throw stuff at him. But I just don't want to play, like, a 6-minute game of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate where I'm Pokemon Trainer and the other guy is Incineroar. Like, I just don't want to play that game. Because there will be a moment in the game at some point where it's extremely volatile. Because Incineroar is extremely volatile. Like, Incin just, like, explodes you. That's his thing. It's like, he'll grab you and you'll just explode. Like, you'll pop like a balloon. And, you know, like, that's his thing. There will be a moment in the game where it's really volatile. But, like, I don't want that to happen once in, like, a 6-7 minute game against Incineroar. Like, it's just so lame. Like, please approach me. Please fight. And the problem with him approaching me and fighting is that I'm way better. So, this is why his success has come through camping. I decided at the last tournament that I would just not try that hard. Like, I would just kind of run around and have fun, goof off. And I did. And when Sean did not approach me for, like, 5 whole minutes in one of the games, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to run him down. Like, I don't care. So, I did. I just ran him down. And I died. And it was whatever. I lost. And I was like, nice. But that meant that his last match against me in bracket, he won, you know? And I was like, well, that simply won't do. So I did the same thing I did the last semester, where we were playing some, like, just for fun games at the end. And the last game I played, not this most recent semester, but the one before, was not the one before, but the one before that, actually, 2 semesters ago. The last semester of my junior year, I played Snake against him. I was like, you know what, I'm going to play Snake. And not only that, I'm going to, like, not use almost any B moves. Because Snake's whole thing is, like, a bunch of explosions. But I like to use his kicking moves because he's cool when he kicks. It's, like, not very good, but I'm better at it. Like, I'm not that good at just using the explosions and, like, setting up a bunch of traps. But I am quite good at kicking people in Super Smash Brothers. So I picked Snake and I beat him with my Snake, which is funny because it's, like, bad. It has, like, no practice. And I'm not camping. Like, if anything, I'm approaching more than he is. And Incineroar does very well into Snake. So it was, like, extra funny. I don't know, that made me very happy. But he really likes me, so he sent me 2 Pokemon cards. He texted me and said, hey, who are your favorite Pokemon other than Raichu? I can't find anything for Raichu to gift you. And I was like, I like Ampharos and Dedenne. He was like, okay. And so he sent me a Dedenne card and a Raichu card. And the Raichu card is so awesome. The Dedenne card is very cool. The Raichu card is so awesome. I thought the Dedenne card was really cool until I got the Raichu card. Now I'm like, wow. My eyes have been opened to see the truth. So that's basically what's up. There's this trend that's been going around on TikTok that's my realistic Pokemon team, based on where you live, who you would have. And I really like that idea. I think I would have I'm trying to think of what Pokemon would most perfectly fit this little duck that lived near me in Norfolk. We had buffleheads. I guess I just have to say ducklet. So I think my first Pokemon ever would be a ducklet, because when I lived in Norfolk, there were these buffleheads that were just these tiny little cute ducks, and they swam in the water, and I would say hi to them every morning before going to school. And then they weren't there for a long time. For multiple years, I feel they were not there. And then the day I left Norfolk to come to California, there were buffleheads in the river, and I ugly cried. I was like, bye, buffleheads, and I was so happy that they were there and so sad that I was leaving. It was just so overwhelming and so sweet that they had come to see me off. It's just how Pierre came to see me off. The campus cat was there on the morning of graduation. I took an awesome picture with him. It's my only grad photo is me and Pierre. So that's pretty funny, but I hung out with Pierre. So I would have a ducklet. That would be my first Pokemon for sure. I would also, I want to say, have some sort of cat. And that's because my mom and I really love cats. And I've had cats my whole life. I don't want to say a starter Pokemon, so I'm not thinking Litten or Sprigatito. But what is another cat Pokemon that's not Glameow? Oh, Skitty. Dude, we would have a Skitty, and it would be awesome. And maybe I would have caught her near where my Nana lived, because Nana used to live somewhere in Virginia where there was a big lake. I think that was in Virginia. But there was a big lake there, and at that big old lake, maybe we would have found a Skitty whose tail looks like a what are those called? Are they called cattails? Are they called? I think they're called cattails, right? Are they called foxtails? Am I crazy? What? Those sausage-looking things that grow by the water. Maybe we would have found a Skitty that lived in the grass kind of near there. And so I would have a Skitty and a ducklet. And then I used to garden with Gran and Grandpa a lot. So maybe we would have an Oddish or some other similar Pokemon. But I'm going to go with Oddish. I think Oddish makes sense. That's a good first 3. I feel that's the first half of my life. And then I came to LA. And we have those parrots that always lived right in front of my house. So maybe I would have I'm going to say Chatot. And the reason I'm going to say Chatot is because I think the real answer is Squawkabilly. And I don't want a Squawkabilly. So I'm saying Chatot. Even though Squawkabilly is a more realistic answer, I don't like Squawkabilly. Squawkabilly is one of the rare Pokemon that I dislike. So what am I at? Ducklet, Skitty, Oddish, Chatot. I say Oddish instead of like a Flabébé or some other like flowery Pokemon because when I would garden with Gran and Gramp and with Nana, we would grow food as well. So it was not just flowers, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I was trying to think of other parrots. But I think I've gotten all the parrots out of my system. So, parrots, oh, I also used to go to, I go to Florida a lot to visit Poppy and Susu. So there would be like a beach type of guy. Or a fish. Or a Wingull. Maybe a Wingull. I like the idea of Wingull because I would have already been like predisposed to being a huge fan of like little like flying type Pokemon from the water because I already would have had Ducklet and I probably would have had I guess I wouldn't have had Chatot at that point, but I would have had Ducklet, and I would have been like, oh my god, Ducklet, you and Wingull or you and Pelipper can get along so well. And that would be so fun, dude. Oh. Okay, I am here. So I'm going to put on my hazards, I'm going to text Cammy that I'm here, and then I'm going to keep thinking about this. Because this is, like, so fun. Cammy. I am here. Everybody, comment below one Pokemon that you would have in like a realistic setting. I don't want to make you do like a team of 6. If you want to do a team of 6 and like explain why you would have each Pokemon, I would love to read that more than anything. But I'm not going to make you do that. So comment below one Pokemon that you would have at least. Yeah. So, bring Dr. Pepper. Smile. With evil eyebrows. Boom. So yeah, comment down below that. Yeah, so okay, so now I'm at Ducklet. And in order, I'm at Ducklet.
Yeah. I call for the.
That's not me.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Sorry about that.
You're good. Y'all, this dude just walked into my car and then showed me his Uber, like, on his phone. And it like, the car he's getting in is huge. Like, the car that he called is really large. Like, obviously not my little Prius. Like, obviously. So that's kind of insane. He's also just, like, looking at his phone and sprinting around the parking lot. Which is, like, why is he doing that? Obviously, they're gonna pull up out front. Like, why would they go in the parking lot behind your place? I'm gonna go park in a parking spot so that I don't seem like an Uber, I guess. Like, what the heck? I basically am an Uber. I'm picking up Cammy. I'm just, like, waiting for her to get here. What the heck? I can't believe that just happened on recording. I was like, oh, that's not me. I have on my sunglasses, though. I have on my button-down Melee shirt, my, like, brown shorts, and my sunglasses, and no hat. So I look, like, as cool as I'll ever look, you know? Okay, well... Okay, so I have to remember how many I have. I have Ducklet, which is 1. I have Skitty, which is 2. I have Wingull or Pelipper, which is 3. And I have Chatot, which is 4. So those are the 4 things so far. And then I've been in California for so long that I feel like California is like an important part of it, you know? You know, there are bunnies. There are bunnies. Is there a bunny Pokemon? Other than, like, Score Bunny? I can't think of any, like, rabbits. Am I a fool? I can't think of any, like, rabbit Pokemon. Maybe I'll come back to that, but there are, like, some bunnies that live near where my dad lives. Like a super, super short walk away. And sometimes we would just go look at the bunnies. That was really fun. I don't know. I feel like what kind of Pokemon do you see at, like, a hotel? I guess you don't really see wild Pokemon there, but there are crows everywhere. Maybe I would just have, like, a Murkrow. Because there are crows everywhere here. Like, those are the birds that you're going to see. You're going to see, like, the parrots that lived, like, right in front of my house. You're going to see the crows. Oh, there are peacocks, dude. I guess I can't think of a peacock Pokemon. Except maybe, like, Espathra, but that's not realistic. I'll say Murkrow is a placeholder, but really those are the four. I think, like, Ducklet, Wingull, Chatot, and Skitty are, like, the four really realistic ones. Yeah. I think those are the really realistic ones. Oh, dude, Meowth is the cat Pokemon. And they're everywhere. Here I am trying to think of what's a cat Pokemon that's not Skitty or freaking... what's a cat Pokemon that's not Litten or Sprigatito? Gammy is so silly. Well, she's here. So, anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Yes, goodbye.